Huh? Hmm? I know. Don't you know they can't do nothing? Can't do nothing. 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 Hey, baby. Hmm? Yo, please.
Yo.
We're gonna start it off with you on the next one. Or well, not fuck the no, not the next one, but this one right here. John came in back up in the joint. We got one more. I know Eb said she had to check out. I understand that. I know she's been doing these 12-hour shifts, so totally understandable. That shit is ill.
Yeah, I ain't got no job for real in real life.
Yeah, I ain't got no.
Babe, but you maintain it. That's all that matters. Shit,
Yeah.
Shit,
No, I was just wondering that. Just wouldn't it make them create more, or even consider it?
Yeah, because it's a business.
That makes sense to me. Like the fact that you like, if you were talking about
If I'm a billionaire,
Karen,
like, like if I'm a billionaire,
can you essentially consent if you're deemed mentally ill? Can you essentially consent to let somebody experiment on you?
Why wouldn't you? You wouldn't have a choice if you were a kid.
Sometimes, well, okay. So when you in the so hey, I get to have a unique perspective. So having been in the crazy house multiple fucking times, you do get to consent to some stuff. Other stuff is you have to do it or you have to get out the facility. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, but that's my point. But like, so if we're talking about like drugs, for instance, and them making money, like essentially, if you're not forced into these facilities, we know that there are very few facilities right now, and they have very few beds. So they're not really forcing anybody into facilities. So if you want to do experimental drugs or something like that, you're going to have to do it voluntarily. So if you're deeming somebody mentally ill, doesn't that incapacitate you from saying, yes, I'm going to give you my consent to give me these drugs or this treatment? And I understand mentally, I understand that these are the side effects because you can't, depending on, like, even when you talk about the death penalty, they won't execute or they won't give certain people the death penalty because they say that they're mentally incapable of understanding the severity of what that means. So couldn't you have that same argument when you're talking about somebody that's mentally ill?
What happened is the doctor so when you put in that place, the doctor, if your family's around and you know your family is like, hey, we'll take care of his or her medical power of attorney, then okay, great. But if that person's not around, the doctor, that person then determines like, okay, well, I determine that this is what's best for this patient, considering there's nobody around. So therefore, you could have a conflict of interest in that particular situation.
Right.
But I think the same way, like you said, the same way that they have that they figured out that the prison system is like the pipeline of prison is a big money scheme. I'm pretty sure that somebody somewhere is trying to figure out a pipeline.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's something that's here now, but I could see that 15, 20 years from now.
Right. And then to be perfectly honest,
because the public is saying
the scope of it being a good thing, because obviously we got
right. Everybody gonna run to therapist, and therapist gonna say, hey, you go here, the severity of it. They already prescribing drugs. You already consenting to that. They're like, hey, this is
but you're assuming that everybody's like, a lot of people's insurance don't cover mental health, or it covers it for a very short period of time. So even when you're talking about
what about the ones that don't have? What about the ones that don't have a job and they from the state?
Well, this again, but you're talking about people have insurance, even with state insurance. Like if you don't understand what you're looking at, once you get insurance, that's your insurance. So if it doesn't cover that, you need those services, then you're pretty much fucked. And then
we're talking about
you get insurance, you can consider that a pre-existing condition, and some insurances will say we're not covering that because that's a condition that existed before you came over here. And because they changed the rules to healthcare, it's allowed for you to say would mess up like this for like even people with diabetes, like they're denying people with if they change a job and they get another job and they have to go with different insurance, the insurance company can literally deny any diabetic medication because they can say that's a pre-existing condition. We don't have to treat that because you had that prior to you starting here. So
Yeah, I know.
part of the issue is that the way that they have structured the healthcare and the insurance is not beneficial for people who like really need help. It's not sustainable, and it'll give you that help for a short amount of time. But people that really need help, it doesn't allow them to get the help that they need. On top of Black people really don't like. Some of us go, but most of us we don't believe in talking about our business. We don't believe that we need to talk to nobody. Crazy people talk to folks, and that's what it is too. Crazy people take medication. We ain't crazy.
Listen, but
Yeah, that's true.
what I was thinking about in lieu of what you said, as far as the costs, how does what you said tie in? It seemed like to me like you have people that are on public aid and they go over to the county and everything like that to get.
But there's a waiting list to get into the county. So if you have county insurance, like the county is a good place to go, but the county has such a wait list because the county also takes, like if you're undocumented, the county has a program where if you're undocumented, they'll take you. They also do dental work. They see a lot of people. So when you talk about the county and how many people they see, there's only so many slots that they're going to see. So if like the young man, if he needs like immediate help and he doesn't have any assistance or any insurance that will cover him, the county is not the place to go because he may or may not get that immediate attention. He might have to wait 2 or 3 months for somebody to actually see him. And then that does him no, although he can get in, if I need help right now, 3 months is not going to help me.
Right.
Yeah,
as far as long term, as far as long, well, let's go with the short term. So the short term, what Alicia just said, that's absolutely correct. Like you can, unless you have insurance, you're not going to get seen. So going to the county is not good. The only way for you to get seen is for you to force them to take you for 72 hours, and that has its own
to threaten to harm yourself or harm somebody else.
Right.
And then that comes with its own issues, because then if you do that, and now that means you give up certain rights, like firearms you can't have anymore. That's a whole other stuff. Right. So then but even if you did that, you do have insurance, like long-term care, that's non-existent. Like if your insurance can afford, if you can afford to insurance for long-term care in a psych facility, you're rich. You're fucking rich. That's actually, it's more expensive to do that than to stay in a senior citizen home, because senior citizens don't even need as much care as someone that, well, depending on what your mental illness is, they don't need that much care. So it's expensive. You're talking about $5,000 for rent.
I was just looking at the fact that because of COVID, and everybody talking about everybody's being depressed and everybody's using it, and the mainstream is starting to pick that up. So I'm just like, theory wise, I know they don't.
I don't trust white people. Shit.
I don't trust them. I'm just saying how they will work it to their favor to use it for us.
But if you think about,
because we always a scapegoat for all they shit.
But we're not going. But Black folk in general, we don't trust them. We don't trust medicine at all. For good reason.
True.
So you'll have a hard time and a hard road trying to convince us that that's what we need to do. Coupled with the fact that, yeah, you're depressed. When you are enclosed in an area where you cannot talk to people, where you cannot go out, where you social, that touching is therapeutic. Talking to people is therapeutic. Right. Eating is a social event. Like people don't know that eating is socially. That's socializing. So when you can't do any of that, when you're locked in the house, and you also have to remember that it's December. So the nights are longer, it's colder. All that brings on depression. Like that, all of that changes. If you look at people's moods in the summer, winter, and fall, you can see the decline, you can see the difference. So you have all this going on, coupled with the fact that COVID, like where I am, people are not wearing masks. We can still go out. Up there where y'all are, it's a big deal. So it's different. So when you can't communicate and you can't, like holidays, they're talking about how, so much COVID, people are scared to go to their family members' house, friends' house. So you're basically isolated. Isolation will cause a lot of things, and it doesn't take medication to get rid of it, but people need to commune with other people. They need to eat with other people. They need to socialize. They need to be outside. You can't be in the house and not get sunlight has an effect on your mood too. So if you're taking all of those things away, you're going to have people that are depressed. They're not eating right. You know, when we come out of this, people are going to be dermophobic. They're going to be unhealthy because they're washing their hands, wearing gloves. So whenever they get a cold, they're going to be really jacked up because nobody has dirt on them anymore. And
Right.
you have all these
Build their immune
things that are
system.
going to be contributing to the demise of us. And none of it is like medication. Like some people do need medication, but most of this shit is just, we need to get out and be around each other and be with each other and socialize and hug and touch and eat.
And fuck.
That too.
Yeah,
That's
true.
touching. That's touching, John.
That's
I was trying
touching.
on some
Yeah.
player shit.
You just those are playing. Those are playing shit.
I was trying to be cool with it, John, but thank you. Thank you with your vulgar ass.
She said on some playing shit. Oh man. I'll just see it because I can see it could be a money scheme because people are randomly looking for attention and they already drugged Zuckerberg to court about how it's affecting the youth, Instagram and Facebook, and how it's making them depressed. So I'm just like some billionaire sitting around concocting some shit on how he could word it around where motherfuckers will be willingly go in and just be like, you know what? Just like a hotel, this is nice. I'll sit here for 3 days.
But you got a lot of people getting black folks and brown folks to take the damn vaccine. So you really think that you're gonna convince them to take a pill for 30 days?
You know how you can do that? Is if you pay them to do it. See, a nigga will do anything for a fucking dollar. That we do.
That ain't true, Kanai, because remember, they were offering money for that. They were offering money for the vaccine in certain states. And they still wasn't getting people to show up like they thought.
But people will
Yeah.
I mean, there was some people showing up, but not in the amount that they thought they were going to get. So I don't think that you're gonna convince people, black and brown people especially, that you can take this pill for 30 days and we gonna pay you $100 because they ain't gonna pay them a lot of money. It ain't gonna be no whole hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I don't think you got to convince them. I think you should say if so. Well, how would I do this? Because people are already okay. Case in point, people are already acting asses on their own. Like this raggedy bitch that we was talking about earlier. Something wrong with this. So she's clearly done some other shit in her life where, you know what, you're going to jail. You in jail this weekend for whatever the fuck you did. You ready to stop whatever the fuck you in jail for this weekend. Well, you're acting out. Aberrant behavior. Put this motherfucker on this medication. I don't agree. Shut the fuck up. You're in jail. This person, you know what I'm saying? That you can force some shit. White people are known for. We gotta kill. Did we say that today? Kill more white people.
You said it today.
Okay,
you only said it once though.
We need to kill more of these motherfuckers.
Because I start off saying.
And this raggedy bitch too from Austin that you talk about. Thanks, rat bitch.
I say Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. Yeah, that shit crazy.
A rat bitch.
Yes, rat stinking ass.
Hey, if you go get rid of her, get rid of the dude that slept with her too, because that's crazy.
Too. That nigga needs to go grandma, too. Fuck it. The dude who's gonna kill himself, that Lord wipe out the whole Jenkins, all them motherfuckers. They can't be around.
Old Jenkins.
A whole last name. They gone now.
Damn. Okay.
We really about that shit over here. We don't play around.
I don't know if y'all ever saw a movie. It was a movie that came out some years ago. One of my favorite movies, actually. It's a movie called Prison Song with Q-Tip, Mary J. Blige, Fat Joe's in there. And there's a segment in there where Mary J. is talking about how, her friend is talking to her about how she's got her kid diagnosed as ADHD because she gets a check from it. And so that always stayed in the back of my mind because, like I said, like art imitates life. And so it's my belief that a lot of people will put their kids in these, will let their kids be diagnosed to these certain labels or whatever in order to get a payday out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that it's a hustle. It's no different than a GoFundMe or a PPP loan or anything like that. To me, in my mind, it's because it's a way to get free money. And if it's a thing, okay, well, they say my kid is hyperactive or he can't pay attention, whatever. Okay, well then yeah, I'll let them do this because they're gonna pay me this amount of money. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's a reality amongst our people. And
I think that's I think if anybody can game the system. I don't know how prevalent.
They have schools when I worked on Cicero, Carmack and Cicero, we would have parents come in with letters from the school basically saying that the child had ADHD and they require medication. So when I would go through these letters weren't being sent by somebody who had any background or any degree or any knowledge of ADHD.
proves it.
These were teachers in the school. And so you had teachers telling the parents and sending them to the doctor with these notes, basically saying that these children have ADHD and they need to be put on medication, but they don't have any qualifications to do that. So as a parent, when you're talking, especially young parents, you don't know, you're just assuming that they know what they're talking about. You have 30 kids in a class and one teacher, and they're 5 or 6 year old. Guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna talk. They're gonna move around. That's what they do. That's normal for them.
So I can understand what you're saying. You said the child goes to school. The teacher says little Billy has ADHD,
and then sends a letter home to the parent that the child has ADHD and needs to be put on medication.
And then the parent takes that letter.
Right, I heard that before. Yeah,
but you also know that the school now, for every child that the school has that they deem as special, they get money. So any kid that gets ADHD, I remember my son used to stutter. My son made very good grades in first grade. Me and my ex-husband met with the teacher. The teacher wanted, this is on a military post too, at Fort Sill. They wanted to keep my son behind a grade because he stuttered. Now he was going to speech class. And so the question was, okay, well, he's doing well in school. What's the benefit from putting him back? Are you all is the curriculum going to be different? No, same curriculum. What the fuck do you want to keep him back for? But they were getting money because if he had stayed back, they would further prove that he had some kind of delay. He just stuttered. And we didn't allow that. But I found out that the school, when you have speech impediments, when you have ADHD, when you have learning disabilities, the school gets funded. They get extra money for those children because those are special needs children. So
does the doctor revere? Does the doctor pay? I don't even know a word to use.
Doctor, so we reviewed them, and most times I would just tell the parent, like, the teacher's not qualified to even make that decision. But as a parent, especially when you're talking about a young parent, they only, you're thinking that the teacher has the best interest of the child. So certainly I'm thinking that you care about my child and you have my child's best interest. So this is a concern for me. So now I'm gonna bring it to the doctor. Well, no, your child doesn't have ADHD, but first of all, the suggesting that the child has ADHD from somebody that's not qualified to diagnose it, but also saying that not only do they have ADHD, but they need to be put on medication, that's problematic because that only happens in our neighborhood. So you have a lot of these children that are, and I don't know if you've seen anybody on medication for ADHD, but they're not the same people. It's not, they're fucking zombies. So you have all these kids that are, because they're fidgeting or moving around, which is something normal. Kids play, kids jump around, kids fidget, kids talk, kids get bored. They do things like that. But
say it the way it is. They don't want to tolerate our kids.
Well, not only tolerate our kids, but this is how you keep a class of 30. There should not be a class of 5-year-olds, 30 of them for one teacher.
Right.
But
it very is.
To keep that class manageable, let's put half of them on some medication because then they out of it. And it's manageable at that point. And the school gets more money. So we have to be very vigilant about allowing people who are not qualified to label our children, because those labels, that label that you get at 5 years old, that shit stays with you for the majority of your life.
That's true.
Some of these kids are happy as long as they're getting a payday from it. And you just sit and ruin your kid's life and your kid is on all types of Ritalin and whatever medication that you're throwing them under because of a recommendation that a person that's not qualified to make the recommendation made to the doctors. It's a
Right.
money fucking game. And see, that's the problem with some of these people is that they so thirsty for money, they're willing to put their kid through that so they can get a fucking check for free. That's bogus. That's bogus.
Right.
And that ties in with
Absolutely.
that picture that I posted and me bringing up that post about that kid that she say was going to commit suicide, her child. This all ties together in my mind. And it's these parents that are in my age frame, not all, but some, are clearly failing these kids. And it's no wonder why these kids will go out and just shoot and kill and murder and rob and do all types of fucking crazy shit. Because as far as I'm concerned, if they say the mother is supposed to love the child. If the mother don't love you, you fucked in the game. For real. If you cannot go to your mother for love, you are fucked. Real shit. Now,
that's real shit, though.
They say that, okay, with the daddy, or he may or may not be there, whatever. But if the mother don't love you and you know it, and you are aware that the mother doesn't love you, you are fucked. And if it was me, hell, I wouldn't give a fuck either. I'd be out here reckless, taking every drug I can take, drinking as much liquor as I can, tattoo my whole body. I'll be lashing out every which way, and I ain't no different. I'm just a person. So I kind of understand. I'm not making excuses for these kids because wrong is wrong. Because we all got a choice. Now, none of us came from a perfect home or the best background in the world. I don't know one person was born with a silver spoon in their mouth. So we do like, well, I don't know who said it. It may have been Alicia or it may have been John. But somebody said something along the lines that we take, I think it was Johnny. We take bits and pieces of what our parent or parents show us, and we don't take all of it. We just take some. And then we mix in our shit. And that's what makes us who we are. So you do have a choice. So now everybody in this room, well, damn near everybody, but we all from Chicago. Okay. Chicago been fucked up. But all of us didn't choose to go out there and shoot people and do all this crazy shit because we didn't want to. But these kids today, they want to do this. There's some anger, animosity there with these kids. And it starts at home. If you have a mother like that at any given moment, we talking about just randomly on the show, I went on her page and showed y'all a picture. You see what I'm saying? If that was my mother, it's gonna fuck with me. Every single time I think about it, I don't even have to see it. Every time I think about it, it's gonna fuck with me to the point that I'm just like, I'm ready to just do whatever.
Yeah, it's true.
So, Will, going back to what Will said, what point do we become accountable? When the fuck do we grow up? These kids only get what you give them. They only get what you give them to start off, and then they start picking their own shit. I couldn't imagine the embarrassment and the torment that kid goes through, knowing that his mother is online, damn near naked for anybody to see. Niggas sit up there, go online and talk about oh man, his mama over here. Man, she got her titties out. She got her ass out. Man, look at this mama, man. Would you fuck? Wouldn't you fuck? That's how young kids talk. See? But they don't think about that because I'm grown. I do what I want to do. I'm a fool. I'm a grown ass woman.
Like you said, they like the likes. The likes are more important. The internet likes and the attention from his little friends and whatever little guy, fuck his friends, whatever guys that she see on the internet or whatever, that shit's more important to her than her relationship with her goddamn child. That's a fucking shame. It's raggedy bitch. I'm really this really is irritating.
It speaks violence because you know what? We know everybody ain't fit to be a parent, but you had a choice in that too. There's plenty of methods for birth control. You know what? I'd rather look, if you know that you a selfish motherfucker, I'd rather you just get a kid up for adoption. And maybe get a couple of parents that give a fuck than for you to sit up and drag this kid through that type of bullshit that they didn't ask for. They didn't ask to be here.
You're right. You know what it is too, though. Some women, they pride won't let them give their kids up for adoption too, because they don't want to look bad for doing it.
I disagree.
And
I'm gonna tell you why, bro. I'm gonna cut you off, but I'm gonna tell you why I disagree. Because 9 times out of 10, those ain't college graduates that's doing this shit. Those ain't mothers that's out here making $100,000 a year. Those are fucking welfare moms. Those are hustling ass moms that's out here doing this bullshit.
Really? You said that?
That's my opinion. It may be left field, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, I done seen some shitty mothers that make good money. And a shitty mother has nothing to do with your economic status. A shitty mother is a shitty mother.
Shitty mother, period. She got money.
Shitty mother.
And she's shitty.
I've seen parents with money and they're shitty.
They're terrible.
They're shitty. So a shitty parent is a shitty parent. I can be on welfare, and I've seen some women on welfare that fucking love their children to no end. That show up for their kids to no end. Yeah. So I don't think that it has. I think it has less to do with economic, and it has more to do with motherfucker. These are your children. This is. I think you said it perfect when you said, I'm not a parent, but I know what it feels like to love somebody. This has to do with
love.
Love is always like, if I say I love you, Kennard, that's followed up by an action. Love is not something that I just say to you. Show you my love every day and never tell you that I love you, but you will see it in everything that I do, because love is always an action. So when you love your child, you show up for them every day. You show up for them when you don't want to, when you don't feel like it, when you ain't got it, when you do got it, when you don't want to be bothered, when you're tired, when you're angry, when you hurt. Like there's been days that I've had badass days where I just didn't want to even be bothered with nothing. Shit just all fucked up. But I had to show up for my kids, so I got to put my game face on and show up for them. Because if I don't show up for them, ain't nobody, like you said, it's nothing. Even if my kids had their mother and their father, ain't nothing like my love for them. Like their father loves them, no doubt. He'll do whatever for them. But at the end of the day, that's their father. No matter what they do, they know I got them. I'm gonna rock with them, and I'll fight their daddy battle. They know that. And it's nothing like it. So I don't think it has to do with money. I think it has exactly to do with what you said. I know what it is to love somebody, and love will make you do things for people that you don't want to do when you don't want to do them, and when you don't have to do it with. It'll help you find a way to do whatever it is you need to do for that person that you love. And again, I think you just summed it up with, it's about love and how much you love that person.
I know.
Yeah.
And
some people,
go ahead, Will.
Just because people have kids, that don't mean they love them.
Tell me about it. And it shows.
Don't mean they love them.
That is true.
That's why I compared it to the Animal Channel. It's almost like rats. Rats, when they hungry and they give birth, they eat they carnivores. They carnivores. They eat them. They eat their weak. And it's sad that I'm sad that I'm comparing that to human beings. There's some sick fucks in the world that act like that. They don't care. They don't care.
And we need to hold them parents accountable. Like, I don't think that.
That's what I believe in. You gotta hold them accountable.
That you're going to, because I agree with Kennard. Like, you have birth control, and there's a million different ways that you can have a child.
It's called swallowing.
This is what I'm going to do.
It's called swallowing.
I wish I could just punch you. I almost punched my screen.
It is. What's wrong with that?
Once you decide that you're gonna have a child, whether that man stay with you or not, it is your responsibility to ensure that that fucking child grows up in a healthy and safe environment. If you do anything other than that, your ass is unfit. You don't have. There are no more excuses once you become a parent, because now you're responsible for somebody. You're responsible for somebody else. and they depend on you. So at that point, I think that like old girl, like they need to take her child away from her because bitch, you're unfit. Like you're
Yep.
not doing nothing that you're doing shows that you're concerned with his welfare. The fact that he's committing suicide, like John said, whether directly or indirectly, that baby felt that he couldn't come to you. That baby felt like
Yep.
this is the only way that he could out of whatever situation was going on because he felt like he had no outlet. And then we see you on, and that doesn't mean that you contributed to it, but you're on Facebook with your titties out, your ass out. So this is just what we see on social media. So what are you doing at home, and why does this baby feel like this? And then you're posting on Facebook as if it was crying tears, as if it's something, it seemed to me like it was not, it wasn't serious. Like it didn't seem like she took it serious.
Sincere. It was sincere.
It was like a joke.
It was like, okay, it's a normal day. Yeah, my kid about to kill himself. Don't worry, y'all.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
There was no severity in it, and that's all of that
At all.
is concerning. Because what happens next time when the baby tries to help himself? And did she even get the baby help after he did? They're like,
right.
Those things.
Where's the follow-up story? Where's the follow-up story? Nothing. Just that's it.
And where's the family at in all this? Like who? Where's the grandmother and the
mother,
and the
uncles,
like,
anybody?
Where's the family at to kind of cover this baby when this is happening and tell her take that shit down?
I'll tell you
what
the next move is that and God forbid, because I don't know this kid, but I was a kid at one point in time, and life wasn't perfect, like nobody else's childhood was, but I feel as though, a kid that young, you don't, like, again, you only get what you give them. But my opinion, the next move would be a GoFundMe or another Facebook post to say, oh, my kid did this, da da da. Oh, can y'all help out? This type of bullshit. And it's another reason for you to gain more. You've turned his situation into being about you. It's not about you. And it shouldn't be about you as a parent. You see what I'm saying? Because you have this child here. You've been on the planet arguably twice as long as he has. Okay. So you should have learned something to be able to pass on to this child. Or you should, at the bare minimum, this child should be able to trust you with something that personal, and he can't. Because what did you do? Mm-hmm. I don't know if you reached out to family out that's not on Facebook. What is on Facebook is that you told Facebook that your son tried to do this. To me, the first thought that came in my head was, what does that say about you?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What does that say about you? That says a lot about you. Is that the level of respect that you have for your child, the level of respect that you have for family business is non-existent. You don't fucking have that because you're so attention starved that you're willing to just throw anything up there. I don't care how raunchy, whorish, I don't care how personal it is, just as long as I get a like, because I want people to like me. Motherfucker, in this world, it's motherfuckers don't like it, I don't give a fuck. It's people that ain't gonna like your motherfucking ass. That's the real world. Okay? Ain't no perfect world where you liked by everybody.
Right.
Let that shit the fuck go. Grow the fuck up.
Yeah, that's why I say that too, because it's like I could see if the person was 18 and under, 21 and under. When do 40-year-old people are looking for likes?
When they made
growing up in the 80s, growing up in the 90s, anybody that's like almost 30, the late 30s up into their early, late 40s, we grew up, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have computers. So that's why I hold them accountable. That's why I hold them accountable, because it's like, what was all this attention seeking then? When we were running around in the streets and going hanging out, where was all that then?
They were half naked, dancing and shaking their ass. Like it was just a different form of trying to get attention. Facebook gave a bigger platform to do it. Facebook is just a bigger platform, but they were still looking for attention back then. It was just done on a smaller platform.
Right.
Okay.
I guess what I'm trying to say, and we coming down to the last 6 minutes. We're gonna wrap it up after this because it's a little bit late, whatever. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that, if you live your life trying to chase clout or fame or attention, then in my opinion, you got a sorry ass life. At what point in time do you learn to accept yourself and love yourself? I ain't talking about being arrogant. I ain't talking about, oh, well, I got 1,000 likes, so I'm the shit. You wasn't shit before then. I'm talking about really genuinely loving yourself. And the importance of loving yourself is that when you love yourself, you can take that love and spread it on to other people. When you so hopped up on ego and arrogance and all this other shit, that's not love. That's a facade. That's fake shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I see. That's what's so sickening about that post.
Yeah.
That picture that I shared with y'all, and a lot of other people doing the same shit. It's because they don't love themselves, and it's radiant. It just screams. Because anytime, look, if you have an ego, you got to constantly try to prove to people that I'm this, I'm that.
Yep.
If you love yourself, you ain't got to prove a fucking thing because it's internalized. It's in it. People will see it a mile away. They know it's there. You can hear it in the way people talk. You can see the way they carry themselves. It's there. It's in them. That's what everybody on this panel and everybody on this show, that's what I see with y'all. That's the common ground I got with each and every one of y'all. Each and every one of y'all, because I don't see arrogance. I don't see none of that with none of y'all. I don't see ego with none of y'all. That's a beautiful fucking thing because this is a prime example that everybody don't have it. And the reason they don't have it because they don't choose to have it. Now, I always talk about choices. I always talk about choices because we grown people, we choose what the fuck we want to do. We're going to be what we want to be. If I wanted to be an arrogant motherfucker, I could be that. Just like anybody else. I choose not to. I'd much rather love myself and let the shit show. You're going to see it. You're going to hear it. You're going to recognize it. You're going to gravitate to it. But this is the problem with a lot of our people today, man. They're too hopped up on, oh man, I got 20 likes today. I have my titties, so they like that.
He should get cheese out.
You know what I'm saying? Well, or I got a gun. I got my gun and some weed. They like that. I'm gonna keep, I got 15 likes for that. This petty ass shit. You fucking live for a computer screen. Back in the day, going what Will was saying, back in the day when I was coming through the ranks, man, we had none of that. It was man to man, woman to woman. We interacted with each other. We hung out with each other. We talked on the phone with one another. Today, shit is so interpersonal. It's always about a text or a DM. What happened to when we used to pick up the phone and call a motherfucker and talk to a motherfucker? But the problem is today with people, they so one-sided. It's just, hear what I gotta say and fuck what you gotta say. It's all selfish.
That's true.
It's all selfish. That shit needs to fucking stop, man. But we gotta be the ones to choose to stop it or choose to perpetuate it. Now we down to the last 2 minutes and I hate to ramble on. Hey, anybody got any final thoughts before we get out?
And you was preaching.
For real. I'll let you preach.
I was with you. Shit, I was about to start.
Yeah, I'm with you. Right.
I ain't got shit to say. What's the cash out, man?
Yeah, at all.
You about to start to go funny.
Shit. Pour me what you drinking.
You ain't old enough for that, Will. You don't want none of that.
Look, I'm the youngest one now.
Yeah,
Pour me what you drinking. I ain't old enough for that drink. Oh man.
I would like to say this, because we coming out of the last minute 141. I don't want to hog it, so anybody cut me off if you want to. But look, hey, it's a beautiful show. Like I said, I got much love for each and every one of y'all. I'm glad y'all came out. I'm glad we're doing this thing because people see this shit. People notice this shit. People are watching this shit. You know what I'm saying? So what we doing right here, man, is we let motherfuckers know the real side of the fucking shit. Fuck the fake bullshit and the, oh, well, all this, and fuck that. We telling motherfuckers on some adult shit the way it's supposed to be. And that's what the fuck we do. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud to be a part of it. Now, I ain't
Yep.
feeling nothing. I gotta get up in the morning. We got a minute left. You know what I'm saying? But yo, oh well, I guess I will say this too. If anybody got enough, okay, it's the Uncommon Sense show, and
There you go.
I mean,
There you go.
after that, okay, we talked about the social media posts and all that bullshit that motherfuckers putting up there, and we shed light on the motherfucker, and that's all we do. Shit.
Yeah, goddamn.
Well, I'm just happy to be here on the show.
Indeed.
I appreciate everybody allowing me on the show.
Hey,
Good to meet you,
Expressing
brother.
my opinion.
much love to Will, much love to Johnny, much love to Alicia, much love to Mika, much love to Ebony, much love to Dre, and everybody that came out. Much love to Michelle too, because she was here too. Hey, this is the Uncommon Sense show. We ain't got that much time, so if y'all want to